Basketball, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's
All right,
go.
all right. We're gonna start off with some news. Want to say prayers up to Markel Fultz towards ACL yesterday. Just a great talent, a great comeback story that was in the works, but suddenly derailed due to injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that guy was really coming on too, man. Praying for him
So
for real.
that's when that happens, man.
Right. I'm gonna talk about some records real quick before I give you all your time for y'all takeaways. The best team in the NBA is the Philadelphia 76ers. Cud has been real critical of them and their playoff or the lack thereof their success in the playoffs. Cud, are you ready to dispel that after a 7-1 hot start? Are you still riding on them? Are you still waiting to see them in the playoffs? And my apologies, 7-2.
Um, I think it's good for them right now. I am waiting to see it in the playoffs and see if it works because I don't think Ben and Embiid wins series together. But so far so good. Maybe Doc told him something. I don't know. I don't
Great
really care.
motivational speaking.
I don't care as long as Ben thrives. To be honest, so if they winning. Who cares? To me.
I got you. The Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers have the best record in the Western Conference, tied at 6-2. Are we surprised that the Suns are off to a hot start? JB, you start.
No, as I said earlier in the season, I felt as if Phoenix would be pretty hot. You know, there'll be a playoff team this year. And I felt as if, you know, the Suns would take that next step and actually become a playoff contender. And they've done so under the leadership of Chris Paul. What he brings to those guys is toughness and a true leader. You got Jay Crowder, real 3-and-D guy, can go out there and get you between 15 and 18 and play great defense. DeAndre Ayton. I mean, you got and D Book himself, the guy I picked to win MVP this year. Man, these guys is just, you know, they clicking. And I knew going into the season, Monty Williams would have them emphasizing defense because the offense has never been the problem. It's always been the defense. So now that you got one of the best defensive point guards ever, I mean, sky's the limit, man. I don't know if they can beat LA, but I definitely could see them surprising everyone and making it to the Western Conference Finals. That's on wax.
Got you. Before I give it to you, John, Jace, the Hawks have starting off to a 4-1 incredible record, have lost 3 straight, and now they are 4-4. What has happened to the Hawks' fiery start? Talk to us, man.
Man, listen. Yes, they have lost 3 straight, but I still have hope in the Hawks. Okay, I still have hope in them. Feel like Trae Young. I forgot what last game. How much he went off last game, didn't he?
Let's take a lookie.
Yeah, like 4 points, like 7 or 4 points.
It was 7. He played terrible.
Yeah. So that's not gonna happen for him a lot. So that's the reason why they lost last game. But I don't know. It's too early in the season to know what's gonna happen. But I just know that they're not gonna go last seed like they were last year. Not last year, but close to last seed like they were last year. So I can't really put a exact answer on it. But yeah, I still have hope in them.
Got you. And before we get into you guys each individual takeaways, John, the Pacers are 6-2, shocking the NBA world. Nobody expected them to return to this status, even with the loss of T.J. Warren, a new head coach. Sabonis and Brogdon has returned. Can you talk to us about why this Pacers team has suddenly awoken, like broke onto the scene?
Personally, I don't really like the Pacers. I don't really like the Pacers. I didn't think they'd make the playoffs this year. So Nate Bjorken, the head coach of the Indiana Pacers, is former assistant coach of the Toronto Raptors, championship winning Toronto Raptors.
Oh, wow.
The team has championship experience in the organization that can be transferred to the players. Secondly, the return of Domantas Sabonis has been probably the most noteworthy news.
Look like he hasn't had lost a step.
In fact, like he's gotten better.
Right.
As far as his playmaking, he's a triple-double type of player, and he looks on the same level with Jokic as far as being impactful. So I think like because they have that big, because they have Miles Turner, because Oladipo also looks impressive this year and scoring at least 20, I think 4 times. They have an offense and a team that plays defense, well enough to win games. So, it's impressive what they're doing with the first year head coach and the fact that they're on, the top of not on top of the East Conference, but they only got 2 losses and the Sixers got 2 losses as well now. So they're tied for that top spot. So, I think they're going to win a lot of games. Their roster is good. So it's cool to see it, I guess.
All right, and get into NBA takeaways. What you seen in these latest few games in NBA you've been seeing? Talk to us, man.
Yeah, so what is it, week 3 of the NBA?
Yep.
And things have started to normal themselves out. I guess like with time, things play themselves out, and we're starting to see the teams that we think are definitely going to go and be a good playoff team. And we're starting to see those teams that we think are definitely not going to make the playoffs. As far as I'm concerned, I've been pretty correct on who I believe is going to make the playoffs, but it's just still too close to call for a lot of these teams. With Houston being 13th right now, they're 2-4. They got their players back. Wall and Harden is playing, and Boogie is there, but they're still losing games. So you got to wonder what the fate is of the Houston Rockets this season. Golden State looks impressive. Like we see now that they are one of the better teams in the Western Conference. I don't know why this disrespect was like given to them, but it's shown that they're going to win games. They're going to make the playoffs, and Curry is going to play well. And they have a deep enough squad to compete. Draymond is back. He's playing well. He played 30-something minutes last game. He's getting his numbers up in hustle stats. He's making plays for James Wiseman. He already said James Wiseman is going to be a top caliber center in the league. So, I mean, that's my biggest takeaway. And lastly, I'm impressed with the Pelicans. They did lose the last game to the Thunder, which I don't see how they lost that game. But I am impressed with them managing to win games this season after kind of like tumultuous beginnings from years before. But having Steven Adams, having, I guess, Bledsoe is giving them a chance to compete with a lot of teams. So I'm impressed with the Pelicans winning, and hopefully they can remain in a position to make the playoffs, because I think they have playoff type of players. So, and lastly, Julius Randle, man.
Talk to him, John.
Boys, man. Julius Randle got the Knicks hooping. This man, bro, if you've seen his rebounds the last 7 games, bro, it's been 12, 17, 16, 14. Like he's scoring like 25 points, and he's getting assists, and he's getting blocks and steals. Turning the ball over, but they're winning games. So I try to tell you about the Knicks, man. Austin Rivers is also there. Yeah. So, that's my takeaway. And shout out to Philadelphia. Hopefully Markelle can have a speedy recovery, but Cole Anthony, it's your time to shine. So.
Right, Jalen, what are your NBA takeaways in this week or previous games, bud?
So I have been paying attention to, mainly the Suns, seeing what they're doing, also the Warriors. I feel like the Warriors are coming around and they're starting to click now. You just seen Steph give Dame 62. Like, I mean, that ain't no easy task to get that man 62. And I just feel as if they are clicking at the right time. I also like what I see out in Sacramento. Them boys is hooping. I don't know what Luke Walton then told them or whatever the case may be, but the boys hooping now.
Tyrese Halliburton, he's single-handedly the reason why they're winning games.
I like the young rook. The young rook can shoot. Man, I just feel like they're trending towards being a playoff team. And I didn't foresee this, but I definitely see them. They could be one of the bubble teams, man. Seriously. Those guys are that good. They compete night in and night out, and they have the young talent to do so. Also, did not see the Knicks being 5-3. Definitely thought they were going to be at least 0-8. So shout out to John for that prediction. Also, my Miami Heat struggling right now. Leads the league in turnovers.
Tyler Hero doesn't.
We will not make the playoffs if we continue to play how we're playing right now. Just being real. Can't be anybody turning the ball over 20 plus times. I don't care who you are. Well, probably LeBron could do that, but we ain't got that. So, yeah, we're trending on the up on the down to not be in the playoffs this year. If we continue to turn the ball over at the rate that we do,
y'all are go. Y'all are go.
We should. I hope. I don't know, but also, I like what I see. Man, listen, I don't feel like this guy is getting his flowers, and he's been playing like the MVP of the league, the Joker. Guy's averaging a triple double as a big man.
He's not getting recognition because they only won one game.
Yeah, they're losing. But now I think they got 3 wins under their belt. They're playing the Mavs right now, so
3 and 4.
tonight,
3 and 4.
we'll see.
On a 2-game winning streak.
1-4 when he was going crazy. They won 2 straight.
Understand it's just like certain teams you can't really take seriously when they start winning. It's like just the Orlando Magic. Come on now. Did we really think the Orlando Magic was gonna make a run for the 1 seed? No. They just had a great couple of games, and now they're back to square one.
Jace has a question for you.
They're not back to square one. They're still winning games. They're 6-2. They're tied for the 1 seed.
Second team in the East.
Okay, so who in here thinks that Orlando will finish top 3 as a top 3 seed?
JB, I just got a question for you, bro.
I don't think top 3.
Yes.
On your Orlando, it's basketball, okay? You were playing basketball here, okay? It's a team sport. So, your team, for instance, did we really think they were going to go to the finals?
Nah.
Okay.
Nobody. But we knew they would make the playoffs.
Yeah.
We knew they would make the playoffs for sure.
It wasn't like a top 5 playoff team.
And also, my point with the Hawks, like them, very talented, but like I said, they don't know how to be consistent. They don't have winning habits yet. And in order to make the playoffs, you have to have winning habits. You can't start off hot and then all of a sudden you drop, 3 games?
Yeah.
They 4-4. Y'all 3-4. So they still doing something better than y'all.
Oh, okay. Let's see what happens at the end of the season. But anyway, like I was saying, because Jimmy's been out. If you're gonna tell the full story.
Excuse. It's early, bro. It's okay.
They got a Jimmy Butler on their team.
They got
Jimmy Butler. Okay. Yeah. Hey, somebody else go, because I'm not gonna do this.
hey, cut. What's your takeaways, then?
Takeaways. One of my big
the Pelicans.
Excuse me? I can't hear you.
The Pelicans are buns.
We lost by 1 point last night to the Thunder. I don't know how. I didn't really watch, but we'll be on ESPN tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. Monday when we played against the Pacers, we actually should have won, but they called a charge on Bledsoe that they didn't call. Oladipo did the same move to play before, but so they weak. But other than that,
sound like y'all lost.
we play Charlotte tomorrow. I'm not concerned. But my big takeaways. I am surprised by the Sixers, as Bruiser said. The Magic are a shocker. But I do want to talk about the Pacers, who everybody removed from the playoffs. Except Jalen. We was all removing them from the playoffs at the beginning. That I might have to eat those words if they keep it up. Sabonis is balling, Depot balling, Brogdon balling. Brogdon really is Brogdon's team.
You can't talk about Brogdon, boy. I don't know.
It's Brogdon and Sabonis' team. Oladipo really he just there, but it's Brogdon's team.
It's really Brogdon's team for real.
I do want to talk about my boy JB and Tatum, but JB that everybody kind of try to underwrite as
they're both averaging 27 points a game. They're like 6 and 7 in points per game this year.
Jaylen Brown is better.
He can play both sides of the ball and average 27. Tatum is the better bucket, yes, but Jaylen Brown is God's best player every night.
I don't want Kimba to come back for real.
Let's talk about it real quick. Let's talk about it real quick before you continue. Should they? Because
I know if they bring him back and they try to lower Jaylen Brown to the 3rd again, like they did in the playoffs, try to make him shrink himself for him
So
upset.
do y'all think they should? You think Kimba should come back with a minimum role playing a third option, or do you think they should try to move him and bring in somebody? What do you guys think?
Third option,
Bring
6
him
man.
back.
Third option, 6 man, or bye.
Yes, he needs to be the
Man,
third
He gets
option.
paid too much money to be the 6 man.
Yeah,
No,
he's
you
not a
don't.
6 man.
They ain't got to play Marcus Smart no time soon. Let Mark, bro. You can't.
$100 million coming off the bench cut, really?
Bro,
why I
you're
think
tripping.
Kimba's-
He's not even. He's a
Kimba's not
starter.
going to allow that to happen. You paying me this much money to sit on the bench and be a 6 man?
Play for Rozier. Get Rozier back and let Rozier come off the bench and let him go.
You think Rozier? You think
Kimba needs to come
like
in and
Hardaway.
average. He needs to be an 18 to 20 point scorer per game, and also high assists.
I don't want him to mess up the chemistry.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I mean,
think
he's never been that kind of guy to mess up the
Last year,
chemistry.
he messed it up. They just did it in the playoffs. He messed it up. That's literally what happened.
Yeah, but now he sees who. Okay, I'm either going to Jalen or I'm gonna go to Jason. Like, they're the number one options on the team.
All right.
Yeah.
But
It was
probably
too
ain't
many.
bring
They
the
had.
ball up. But now you got Kimba. Kimba gonna need the ball. Marcus Smart can play off the ball. Kimba gonna need the ball.
And
We
plus
want
on the
Kimba on
defensive,
the ball.
on the defensive side of things, we all know Kimba. Like, you might have to shade a player over there to help him on some defenders, especially if they're doing the switching in the playoffs. Get a big on them. Maybe there's a dialogue to be had with the point guards. Danny Ainge brings in because they ain't it. Except for Marcus Smart, he like that.
The last good one was IT. Well, not good one. Great. IT was great that year. So.
Yep.
What needs to happen is
They drafted a point guard too.
Oh yeah,
they need to redefine his role.
In the West, the Suns are surprised, but I mean, I expected them to make the off, so it's just a testament to Monty. Lakers gonna Laker. Clippers turned it around from the early little questionable moments.
Well, I played in the back-to-back.
Yeah, that's that line. That really made me upset. Back-to-back since 2017, bro. I was like, all right, they could have just not told me that. So you telling me for 4 years? You know how many back-to-backs they play in the NBA? They play at least like 15, almost 15 back-to-backs, or like if not 15, a little bit lower. And this man ain't played one in 4 years.
Who?
Kawhi.
Oh dang, that's crazy.
Yeah,
And we was talking about he was the best player in the NBA. I never said it, but people were saying that.
Top five. He's not top 5.
If you don't play, you can't be the best at nothing. Sorry, not sorry.
Talk to him, Cut. Let him know.
He's the Tony Romo of basketball. Tony Romo doesn't have a ring, but ring.
I see you trying to do that, JB.
What else I want to say? Something about the Rockets 2-4.
They still can't play defense.
We said, I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy because when we had this conversation right after the bubble, you said, what should the Rockets do? And I think all of us literally said, blow it up. Like, we said, blow it up. Like, bring Harden back. We said you're not going to win. And like, now it's crazy looking at this team and you didn't blow it up. In fact, you tried to build around Harden by bringing Wall in and trading Russ. Like, the general management decisions have been stupid. Like, let's just call it what it is. These have been like literally the worst decisions. How do you just try to put things together real quick? Like, okay, we lost Mike D'Antoni. Let's go get Steven Silas, his number 1 offensive rating team from Dallas. Let's bring in Wall, who just got off an injury. Let's bring in Boogie, who just got off an injury. Let's bring in these players. Let's bring in Harden, who don't want to be here. Like, in what world does all these circumstances coming together lead to a championship?
The only person thriving from this is Harden's points per game, which is what he cares about. Well, not what he cares about, but what he's good at. And Christian Wood. Everybody else, you just there. And the coach is going to suffer because this is embarrassing. And his coaching record going to look bad because this is probably not his ideal team, nor I don't think he had really a say-so in the team. He just knew Russ didn't fit. However, it's bad for Russ too because the Wizards are struggling too. And they combined for 80 points last night, or because Bill had 60 and Russ had, I think, 20, I want to say 20 even, but
the Wizards are the second highest scoring team in the NBA per game. They just are getting like they're not defending on the other end. Like they average 120.8 points per game. That's only second to the Bucks with 125. They just are getting outscored on the other side of the ball. Their point differential is negative 2.1. They be in close games. but they just can't finish for some reason.
Yeah, and David Bertans did give 17 last night, so I can't diss him.
And Bill just
But
come out
Bradley
the
Beal-
third night. Bill just had 60 against the Sixers.
Bill had 60, Russ had 20, and Bertans had 17, and Thomas Brown had 11, and they still lost. But however, they played the Sixers, and it was
They
136.
have 6 losses, but they only lost to 3 teams. That's the crazy part. 2 losses against the Sixers, 2 losses against the Bulls, and 2 losses, I believe, against the Hornets. So it's like, you know,
And they play tomorrow.
They beat the Nets the other day.
They just
Huh?
and they play Boston tomorrow night. It's just a tough.
Yeah. But they can win though. Like you get the players, you got like Bill just scored 60. You got Russell Westbrook. Like you really look at the Wizards and you say, y'all should be better than what this is right now. It is a new team, but
I think it's
twice. I mean, they schedule just not opening up. When they played teams outside of that, they did beat the Brooklyn and they did beat the Timberwolves. So maybe as the season goes on, they'll get better. I feel like they're in a better situation than Houston.
I got you.
So that's just me. But yeah, that's my takeaways. And the Grizzlies 2-5, but I think that's just without Ja. And without Ja and Jaren.
I said it.
Got a test there.
I said it last week.
What?
I said the Grizzlies won't they won't be in the playoff picture due to the injuries of Morant.
They got. I mean, if they could last 2 more weeks, just be they almost beat the Lakers. They could just stay. and I ain't gonna lie. If I'm a team and I have a major injury like that, I think I start looking at bringing in veterans. You got all these people sitting at home, bro. Michael Beasley at home, Lance Stevenson at home, IT at home. Why not give them a chance?
You could bring in veterans because I think those veterans play better than a lot of teams right now.
At home, bro. If I'm the Grizzlies, bro, Isaiah Thomas will be starting at point guard. I'm sorry. I don't think nobody else on that team is that. Like Grayson Allen,
Denver Brooks, they're trying to develop their young core.
Yeah, all
right. Before we get to new music, Jace, we haven't forgot about you, but what are your NBA takeaways?
I only look at team. Well, in the beginning of the season, I only look at the teams that really matter, like the Lakers, the Nets, the Warriors. They matter to me now. The Warriors, I'm not sold on them. Every time they win, Steph has scored 30 plus. Steph is not going to do that every night. Huh?
I said that's expected though. Do you think they'll make the playoffs?
No.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to, because the way they make the playoffs if Steph averages 32.
Okay.
The whole season. The entire season. He has averaged 32. It's possible, but at his age and stage his career without Clay, all this and that, and then they're going to start throwing looks at him, even though it's still Steph Curry. He's still the best shooter of all time. But it's going to make it harder for him to score. So I don't think they'll make – well, if they make the playoffs, they're going to be a low seed. I say –
oh, for sure.
Bottom.
Yeah, the conversation coming into the season was, can he lead this team to the playoffs like what Russ did, like what Harden did, like what Chris Paul did, like what LeBron did? Do you think he'll just make them 7th, 8th seed? If he gets them to the playoffs, his legacy is like – it's clean. But if he doesn't make it, people are going to think, he's the greatest shooter all the time, but he needed help from Defensive Player of the Year, Draymond Green, All-Star shooter Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant. Yeah, that's how you feeling?
I mean, and with that conversation, he'll never leave that. Like, that conversation will never leave his side, because with that help, he went to the finals and won and stuff like that. So, I mean, when they won, they were going against hurt teams in the finals. Right. So, I mean, this would add to his legacy, of course. I just don't see them going to the playoffs, in my opinion. I don't see him averaging 32 points a game, because Andrew Wiggins, you're not going to get help from Andrew Wiggins. He's I'm sorry to say,
carry his dead weight. He can't carry it. It's too much.
Yeah, they're trying to make him something that he's not, with Kelly Oubre on the side as well. Having them, I seen the stat. It was like they shot was it 23s and they only made 4 with them combined or something like that.
Yep.
So they're not right for that system. So I feel like as a team they won't make it to the playoffs. But Lakers, of course, LeBron, AD, they're gonna do what they want to do. The Nets is not surprising, but it's interesting seeing Kyrie and KD last seconds of the game. I thought KD was gonna get that ball. I thought he was gonna have the first shot, but he ended up not having the first shot and he ended up missing it. So I still see them making top 3. Yeah, top 3 in the East. So I feel like it's still too early to even make predictions or anything like that. But that was the only takeaways I got from these first 3 weeks of basketball.
I got you, bud. Is there any more NBA news before we shift gears to music? Guess not.
I think the Suns are really good. Like,
Okay.
really, really good. When you look at their team, the bench, like the people that come off the bench is Javon Carter from West Virginia. You got Cam Johnson. You have Dario Saric, and you have I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that they really do play defense. They have Jay Crowder, I think, is one of the best two-way players in the league. Chris Paul literally being there is making a difference. Like, the team is playing defense. Like, and in today's NBA, like you're saying, like, these teams are scoring 130 points, 125, 115 points. But this year, when we crown a champion, it's going to have to be the team that plays the best defense. And I think the Suns, being number 1 right now in defensive rating and allowing the fewest points per game, they're putting themselves in a position to, go to the finals perhaps, because that's just what you need to do to get there, play defense. So shout out to Chris Paul for going and joining the organization with Monty Williams, who he has a lot of history with. And I think that they'll make a real competitive run in the end. So looking forward to it.
I agree.
I
agree with my
forgot something.
Yo.
Another thing with the Warriors thing, your best player. It was like your best player can't be a point guard for you to win the finals.
Facts.
And this is definitely testing Steph. That conversation with Steph, they won't make the finals. They won't. But if they make the playoffs, I'll say that conversation is only for Steph Curry, bro. It's only for Steph because he was the best player at that time.
He did it He did it that one time, and I think it was just a matchup thing. I think that Cleveland team wasn't depleted; they wouldn't have won. Like when he won the first one, say like he would have played. I think Miami beat. I think the Heat. I think the Cavs beat. Was it the Celtics in the conference championship? I think it was the Celtics.
No, it was the 2015. Either
the Hawks?
Raptors or Hawks.
With the Raptors or Hawks. Say they played the Raptors. Or say they played a team like a real team, a team that's complete. They just couldn't get past Bron.
It's not hurt.
Yeah, they couldn't get past Bron. They would have probably lost. You know what I'm saying? That's all that came down to. But I'm not going to use that to take it. That's his best ring to me. And that Hawks team was really that was a great team. It just was individually they came. LeBron was like, "Oh, there's nothing to me." Like that's why they lost to them. But that's not taking nothing away from Curry. That's my favorite Curry ring because then after that they lost. Then they came back. The team was KD. Then they came back with KD again. It's just he wasn't the best player on the team anymore.
Yeah.
But he was the MVP of that team because that was like, that was his team. Yeah. It's like it's your team, you the fan favorite, but he doing all the work. That's what that was. But not all the work, but he's the difference in the game. He's the reason you won it.
Yeah.
But I just think it's just hard for a point guard to lead a team to success. Like it won't, because you're gonna run into somebody that's more athletic, more
bigger.
They just more responsible for more. They could do more. You 6'3" point guard. You know what I'm saying? That's why Ben Simmons so scared because he is 6'10" point guard, and that's why I think LeBron playing the point last year is what took the Lakers over the hump. When you got somebody that's that athletic and that and that big,
it's just now you don't know what they're gonna do with the ball. Like
it's a mismatch.
Yeah.
That's why Luka was supposed to be so much of a problem, and that's why I picked him to be my MVP candidate. But but Porzingis back in a couple weeks, so we'll see what they do.
Yeah. All right.